Hey guys, so what's happening? So we've got a bit of a weird announcement. This is actually a secret announcement on YouTube's part. So do you want to hear something really funny? Like this is amazing. So I was wondering why so many other videos getting demonetized, and it's saying it's under like hate speech or something. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'm not that bad, am I? You know what I mean? I haven't said anything like really out there recently. Turns out, in fact, this was a bit of a secret update on YouTube's part, that they changed anything from very minor swear words is now on par with the gamer word. So a strong word for fecal matter is right up there, right at the top. It's top shelf sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So honestly, you know what the thing is? It's quite going to get to the point where you're going to have to like start coming up with new words. Apparently, this is actually a thing. A lot of our modern day swearing is actually derived from House of Commons and House of Lords, because they had like policies on what you couldn't blaspheme and all that type of stuff, so they had to like recreate words. It's actually really interesting if you get the chance. There's a lot of modern day words that we use is because of that, and it's a bit of a funny one, I must say. But like enough complaining about YouTube. We've got this unusual what would you call this, a blog post, really?
Well, like a blog post seems to fit it, I think.
Yeah. So it's done by this guy called David Chapman. I'll link to all his stuff, and he's got a Twitter and his website here, and this is more of like a segment from his book. Think of it, it's very in the same vein of like that Jordan Peterson 12 ways of, it's like one of those types of books, but it's
Atlas Shrugged but for gamers.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's not specifically talking about role-playing games per se, but it's
more like the infiltration of subcultures and cultures by those who wish to mine them for all the worth they have. You mean like a particular subset of people who on the internet tend to go into subcultures and take them apart and then say, hey, this is ours now? Those kind of people? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those people.
The protected class of YouTube who can do no wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. So look, let's jump into this. I'll link to it down below. Honestly, I spent the last few days reading his whole website, and it's really interesting. So it is. It's worth checking out if you get the chance. But we're just gonna dive into this, and you guys know what we. You guys should know what we do. At this point
why
now.
We're here. We're here to spread hate.
Yes, that's exactly what we're here for. Exactly. Actually, I probably shouldn't joke about that, because you know what YouTube's like. Oh my god. Anyway, look,
we're here to spread bleep. Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. So subcultures are dead. I plan to write a full obituary soon. Subcultures were the main creative cultural force from roughly 75 to 2000 when they stopped working. Why? One reason, among several, is that as soon as subcultures start getting really interesting, they get invaded by muggles who ruin them.
We should start using that word, muggles, I think.
Muggles,
what would you say would really be the 2000 mark? Would you think that's like the AOL? Do you think it's the internet?
See, I wouldn't say 2000. I would say the main dive of subcultures was probably 05. If not 2010, when the internet was really taking off,
I would argue the last genuine big subculture was probably either like emos or like scene kids. You know what I mean? I would say that's the last like genuine teenage subculture that I can think of, and it doesn't seem to have been like, there's a lot of different people into a lot of different musics, but they don't dress or act, or you know what I mean? There's not that big of a difference now. I don't feel like there is anyway.
The last submissive and breedable culture.
Yeah, well, look, we won't say what happened to all the emos anyway. Everyone knew they all turned into a good.
Yeah, we all know what they did. They decided to get a little more colorful in their hair, like poison dart frogs, warning those to not touch them. Anyway. So, subcultures have a predictable life cycle in which popularity causes death. Eventually, around 2000, everyone understood this and gave up hoping some subculture could somehow escape this dynamic. The muggles who invade and ruin subcultures come in two distinct flavors, MOPs and Sociopaths, playing very different roles. This insight was influenced by Venkatesh Rao's Gervais principle, an analysis of workplace dynamics. Rao's theory is hideous, insightful nihilism, and I recommend it. Nihilism. Ugh, nihilism.
Nihilism. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of over the whole nihilism thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. I should probably do a video talking.
I prefer soul-crushing pessimism to nihilism.
yeah, it's not quite my brand. Honestly, you know what one that's really popular at the minute that I'm really not a fan, like stoicism. Well, yeah,
stoicism. Yeah, stoicism.
I you know, there's aspects of it that I really like.
We'll weather the storm. They can't last forever.
No, I feel like, honestly, when it comes to stoicism, it kind of devolves so far into just don't care about it, man. Just don't care about anything, you know? And I feel like, no, there is stuff you should definitely care about, and there is things you should do to go about that, you know what I mean? I don't know. I suppose this video's not about that. Let's just keep going, will we? The birth of cool.
The birth of cool. Before there's a subculture, there's a scene with scene kids. A scene is a small group of creators who invent an exciting new thing. A musical genre, a religious sect, a film animation technique, a political theory. Riffing off of each other, they produce examples and variants and share them for mutual enjoyment, generating positive energy. The new scene draws fanatics. Fanatics don't create, but they contribute energy, time, money, adulation, organization, analysis to support the creators. This is YouTube right here. This is literally, this first paragraph here is YouTube in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think it would be that. You know, the big one I'm thinking of whenever I imagine that, I'm thinking guys that are really into heavy metal, like really into heavy metal.
Me, yeah.
And like, do you remember? Yeah, but you know who I'm on about. You know, like the guys that they like for the heavy metal albums and stuff like that, and like they
live and breathe metal, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like obsessed with like cataloging it and all that type of stuff. They're the guys that I'm thinking of. You know what I mean? They're the ones that really, but they don't actually create the music themselves, but they're avid to say the least.
Well, this is any fan, whether you're a fan of Harry Potter or books or Lord of the Rings, you are technically a fanatic because you invest in that system. You're like, hey, this is my stuff. I caught myself. See, I did it.
Is fan short for fanatic? I think it is.
Honestly, I think it is because you're like, this is my stuff. This is my kind of jam, and I am all for this. Like you have your fanatics, I have my fanatics. J.K. Rowling has militant fanatics. So I'm gonna do this whole sprint right here to MOP invasion. Creators and fanatics are both geeks. They totally love the new thing. They're fascinated with all its esoteric ins and outs, and they spend all available time either doing it or talking about it. If the scene is sufficiently geeky, it remains a strictly geek thing, a weird hobby, not a subculture. If the scene is unusually exciting and the new thing can be appreciated without having to get utterly geeky about details, it draws MOPs. MOPs are fans, but not rabid fans like the fanatics. They show up to have a good time and contribute as little as they reasonably can in exchange.
Geeks, you know what that is,
yeah.
mate?
Yeah, I know
exactly what that is. The big problem that 5e has at the minute, where it's all players and no DMs.
It's all MOPs.
Could you argue are players overwhelmingly MOPs in this analysis?
Well, because they contribute as little as possible. Which, if you know your average D&D 5e player, yeah, it's that fucking tracks.
average, there is definitely. Although that's not to say like there's plenty of amazing players out there, and let's be serious, the game's not it if you don't have good players. You know what I mean? Yeah. But everyone's met someone like this in a game store.
Absolutely. Like there are whales and there are MOPs, and the MOP makes an absolute because it is gets soak up it, but they don't give anything back. They just kind of soak it up, put it in their bucket, and they leave. So geeks welcome MOPs, at first at least. It's the mass of MOPs who turn a scene into a subculture. Creation is always at least partially an act of generosity. Creators want as many people to use and enjoy their creations as possible. It is also good for the ego. It confirms that the new thing really is exciting and not just a geek obsession. Further, some money can usually be extracted from MOPs, just enough at this stage that some creators can quit their day jobs and go pro. Fanatics contribute much more per head than MOPs, but there are few enough, and it's rarely possible for creatives to go full-time with support only from fanatics. Full-time creators produce more and better of the new thing, the MOP invasion.
Yeah, I could see that. I think there's... Oh, what was I thinking there? the one that gets me is it's getting your stuff out there. I think I'm getting to the point where I think, honestly, about 90% of PDFs that people make should probably just be put out for free at this point, because I think it's more important to get people to actually play your stuff.
Well,
or
the
see
thing
your
is,
stuff or interact with it.
if you compare this to 50 years ago, the social contract has been eroded between creators and users. Back in the day, if you created at least anything, a user would feel compelled via social contract to give you something, $1, a quarter, whatever. Nowadays, it's all about me. They just want to consume and take, and then can actually
even have. Has that been a bad thing though for music per se? Like, we're living in a golden age of music. Like, we've never had a better time for access to so much music.
The thing is, that's happened due to YouTube and I think Spotify, because they still pay the creator even without having the MOPs or fanatics pay them themselves. They're still holding up that social contract via advertising, which is why on YouTube there's so much strife, because YouTube was more or less holding up the support pylons for the social contract. But when those pylons collapse finally, the creators won't feel the need to create because they're just getting shit on all the time. Like, when you look at all the people who are burning out right now because they can't even make money. Now, people are going to say in the comments, well, it's not all about the money. Yeah, we know that, but it is nice to make money from something you love to do. Everyone wants to make money and live off of the thing they love to do.
The problem is, like, the way I would look at it would be, if you want to, like, if you really enjoy something that someone does, by supporting, helping them financially, it means that they can dedicate far more time than what they could previously have done.
They can make bigger and better content.
Yeah, exactly. They've got more time. They can produce stuff faster. They can get stuff out quicker. A good example would actually be Shoggy. He's doing that at the minute. So he was having a really bad time in his job, really horrible. He was going in between a few jobs, and he was just, you know how it is, like office work sort of stuff, and he just wasn't having a good time with it. And I've been pestering him forever about getting models, because everyone asks me, it's like, is there any chance of, like, All-Garden Party models? I'm like, you're gonna need to talk to him about it. And I've asked him, and he's like, I like the idea, but we'll leave it till it's done. And it was one of those ones he's had. A few of his family's had big health problems, and you know what? He's like, I'm just gonna move home, help them, and we'll try and get this Kickstarter for the models up and going. And he's actually went through a lot of it, and, like, the thing is, he's almost finished the All-Garden Party because of that, and that just wouldn't be the case. Like, if he wasn't able to do this, the All-Garden Party would probably be years before it's finished, and people have already it's been going for, what, like 6-7 years now already. You know what I mean? For, like, a fan project, and the thing is, it's such a gray area.
It all ties into this, though. Like, people don't, I think people have forgotten that if you want more of the thing you like, you're gonna have to try and support the guy who's making that shit. Because a guy or girl or whoever who's just pumping out content for nothing will burn out like a fast burning candle, and they'll just quit. Like, you know what, it's not worth it. Like, even though they love doing it, if you're not getting anything out of it, you're never gonna keep doing it.
That, and also it costs, the biggest problem I see with RPG books at the minute, the biggest problem is the cost of formatting and art. However, art is getting out so much cheaper now, especially
AI generated
AI art. Yeah, I mean, like, the AI art still isn't exactly good at the minute, but, like, think of where it's going to be in, like, 5-10 years time. It's going to be, I think it'll be really good. I think it'll be incredible. Like, look at AI art just in the last year alone and how much better it's already became. I think it's only a matter of time before AI art is the go-to for almost everyone, and that's the biggest problem with it. It's so expensive to produce.
All right, the MOP invasion. I'll go all the way down till the sociopath invasion. Yeah. Fanatics want to share their obsession, and MOPs initially validate it for them too. However, as MOPs grow in numbers, they become a headache. Fanatics do all the organizational work, initially just on behalf of the geeks, out of generosity, and to enjoy a geek sub-society. They put on events, build websites, tape up publicity flyers, and deal with accountants. MOPs just passively soak up the good stuff. You may even have to push them around the floor. They have to be led to the drink. At best, you can charge them admission or subscription fee, but they'll inevitably argue that this is wrong because capitalism is evil, and also because they forgot their wallet. So basically, it's leftist. Copy.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, like, the way I look at it,
I have to pay for content. This is fucking.
Yeah, I see. The thing is, I don't mind this because I've seen so many game stores. For me, there's been 3 game stores in my area that's had to shut down because they just couldn't make money. You know what I mean?
So,
and like, the one that I go to at the minute, the thing is, anytime I go in, if I'm playing a game, I'll just buy something. I'll that's how I've ended up with so much dice at this point. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if I'm going in, I'm spending the time, I'm enjoying the facility. It just makes my life a bit easier, and I really want the place to stay open. So what's the harm in buying something for like a tenner or whatever? You know what I mean? It really doesn't cost me that much, and if it means I get to keep this place open, I'm more than happy for it. And they don't charge anything. Normally a lot of places even charge just like a couple £1 just for the table. This place doesn't charge anything at all, which is kind of insane to me, but like
Well, the one that I go to now, it's making up its shortcomings with sales on making food. They have a small little cafe in the back and make pizzas.
Oh. Well, that's not bad. The pizza's decent, or is it like
it is decent? He makes his own dough, his own sauce, and that way, if you come to the store, you're taking up table space. You're not buying any models or gear, but if you buy a pizza, that helps take care of the loss of income plus they're feeding you. It's convenient, and they have lockers on site you pay for per month to put your shit in.
Oh, that's really good actually.
So he is soaking up the losses from lack of sales by just making amenities. Like, hey, I have food, I have lockers, I have yada yada. I got tea and drinks. He's shoring up the red and turning that red to black.
That's a good idea, actually. Lockers, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, I bought one, not gonna lie. It's hella convenient.
Yeah, but see, having to like log about stuff all the time, it's a nightmare. Like, it really is. That's actually a really good idea. That's one of the best ones I've heard in a while.
But the thing is, most game stores lack the initiative to try and break the red and the black. They just deal with it and go, I guess we'll close down. It's like, fuck me.
Yeah. Well, the problem I think it is a lot of the time the people that open game stores, they're doing it for passion,
ignorant.
You know what I mean? Yeah, well, that too. It's like, here, I can just play Magic all day, sure. If I just open a game store, I'll play Magic and 40k all day. That's cool. You know what I mean?
That's great. I like this. It's great. Like, why everything gotta cost some money? It's like, yeah, but that's how this works.
Yeah. It's
Anyhow,
sadly, and also, let's be serious. I think one of the biggest problems is most nerd-dominated hobbies tend to be adult men or women that are either have no kids or whatever, and therefore are gonna charge more. You know what I mean? Like, they're 40k for God's sake. Like, do their models need to be that expensive?
No, they don't.
Or do they know people will cough up? You know what I mean? It's like,
well, because 40k is mostly whales nowadays.
Yeah. Well, this is what gets me at the same time. It's like if I'm able to do models for cheaper, then I do. Like, for my stuff's under half price of what Games Workshop sells for. You know what I mean? Like, if I can do that, what's going on here?
Greed. You know what I mean? All it is filthy corporate greed. It's all it is.
Yeah.
And that's because Games Workshop got attacked by this. We're talking about it right now. They basically got turned in. Like, I think that 40k, when the sociopaths show up, that's when everything goes to shit. So we'll get there in a minute. Yeah. So MOPs also dilute the culture. The new thing, although attractive, is more intense and weird and complicated than MOPs would prefer. Their favorite songs are the ones that are least the new thing and more like other popular things. Some creators oblige with less radical, friendlier, simpler creations. MOPs relate to each other in normal ways like people on TV do, which the fanatics find repellent, like talking to each other and bathing. During intermission, during intermission, geeks want to talk about the new thing, but MOPs blather on about sports ball and celebrities. Also, the MOPs also seem increasingly entitled to treating the fanatics as service workers. Fanatics may be generous. Yeah, the average DM. Fanatics may be generous, but they signed up to support geeks, not MOPs. At this point, they all may quit, and the subculture collapses.
There's a good chance of that now.
It is, yeah.
That's where it gets really...
That tracks, bro. F*** me.
Yeah, and the thing is, this isn't specifically talking about role-playing games. That's what got me the most. I was like, gee, what's going on here?
This applies to almost everything, man. Think about The Witcher, or Lord of the Rings, or...
Oh, yeah.
Harry Potter somehow escaped this shit, but still, like, the big things that were the big geeky things, they all get this weird subversion shit going on, where...
Well, I don't know. Like, see, the thing is, for me, like, you know, I think I was the first victim of Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
I read the books. Well, the thing is, the books came out at the perfect age for me. I really enjoyed them. I loved them. And then I remember when the movies came out, and I was like, oh, no, these are pretty good. And I enjoyed the first couple of movies. And then I think it was the Goblet of Fire really got me. And I haven't watched any other Harry Potters since the Goblet of Fire. And it was just quite upsetting, if I'll be honest with you, just seeing how much of it. And I get it now, like, you know, being older, it's like they had to cut so much of it out because it's a movie, and, like, you know, the book is, like, you know, a few hundred, like, you know, about, like, 600-700 pages long. They just can't have it all in.
Cowards.
But it's still kind of sad. Yeah, I know. It was still kind of sad, though. And I don't know, it kind of upset me at the time. And it was the first time I'd ever seen something that I really loved and enjoyed be watered down so much. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what this is, though. Like, you read about it, it's the exact same thing. It was too much for the non-geeks, so they had to mop it down a bit and make it all nice and watered down and easy to digest.
So, I don't know if you know this, but we've got a website with lots of models. And whenever I say lots of models, I mean lots of models. We've got models for any setting that you can think of. With humans with biddies, animals that shouldn't have biddies but do have biddies, dwarves and elves with biddies. Look, we've got a lot of smut models. But it doesn't stop there. We really do have models for anything and everything. And to be honest, they look so good. Chef's kiss, so good. But it's not all smut for all you good Christian Minecraft server players. We've got you covered. And we even got the weebs covered too, which is unusual for this channel because we don't like weebs.
The weebs aren't that bad, okay? They're just fun to laugh at.
We also have 5th edition subclasses and adventures, which some of them are free for download, and we sell a physical printed copy of Steel Water as well, and you can request a signed version if that's your thing, where I'll draw a penis on it for you.
If you want us to sign a couple decks, we'll give you decks, okay, guys? That's what
anyway,
you want.
If you enjoy what we do here, go ahead and check out the website. It helps us out so much, and we don't need to worry about our YouTube overlord striking down another one of our channels. Our website is also now available as an app on Android. Also, and the winner of the daily giveaway is this guy! Yay! Woo!
Look, anyway, in for a chance to win, all you gotta do is like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, automatically entered in.
And to claim the prize, you just send an email to neckbeardiacontact@gmail.com. Let's get back to the video.
So the sociopath invasion.
That's where it gets good.
Unless sociopaths show up, a subculture at this stage is ripe for exploitation. The creators generate cultural capital, i.e. cool. The fanatics generate social capital, a network of relationships, strong ones among the geeks and weaker but numerous ones with MOPs. The MOPs, when properly squeezed, produce liquid capital, i.e. money. None of those groups have any clue about how to extract and manipulate any of those forms of capital. The sociopaths quickly become best friends with selected creators. They dress just like the creators, only better. They talk just like the creators, only smoother. They may even do some creating, competently if not creatively. Geeks may not be completely fooled, but they also are clueless about what the sociopaths are up to. MOPs are fooled.
That's a different video.
Yeah, different video. They don't care so much about details, and the sociopaths look to them like creators, only better. Sociopaths become the coolest kids in the room, demoting the creators. At this stage, they take their pick of the best-looking MOPs to sleep with. They've extracted the cultural capital. The sociopaths also work out how to monetize MOPs, which the fanatics were never good at. With better publicity materials, the addition of a light show, and new, more crowd-friendly product, admission fees go up tenfold, and MOPs are willing to pay. However, not much of the money goes to creators. However, more of them do get enough to go full-time, which means there's more product to sell. The Sociopaths also hire some of the fanatics as actual service workers. They resent it, but at least they too get to work full-time on the new thing, which they still love, even in the light version. The rest of fanatics get pushed out or leave in disgust, brokenhearted. This is literally every YouTube channel known to fucking mankind. Jesus. Or like if you're able to kind of expand out to like D&D, it fucking lines up. Or Games Workshop, it lines up. They're like, man, they make a lot of money doing this. And this is literally what happens with like a business goes public. These people going, oh wow, look at this. If I buy this much of your company, you gotta do this for me. And they slowly start cramping down and destroying what the product used to be.
See, that's the biggest bit that gets me. It's like the reason why it was, why do you have to take it away? The reason why people enjoyed it, you know what I mean? Like, why are you trying to water it? I get you're trying to appeal to more people.
Well, it says it right there. It says it right inside there. They just want to extract capital, social capital, money capital.
But could they not do that by making a better product, though? You know what I mean? Like,
you don't have to. This is literally D&D. They go, hey, that's cool. It's established. People like it. Let's rip this bitch apart and extract every juice we can get from this. This is literally D&D. These guys went, oh, this thing exists.
I don't know, man, because like think of it, like look at all these books that they keep putting out, like all these I don't even want to talk, I hate talking about this stuff, but like, you know, look at all these new WotC books that people just don't seem to care about, and the sales are plummeting. Like, you know, like let's just say Spelljammer, for example. They put out a book, it wasn't really finished, they didn't have the correct, like, you know, they didn't put in ship-to-ship combat, which was what people really genuinely wanted, and then there was all this stuff about monkey Hidozi people, and then that turned into its own thing. You know what I mean? It's like just like, and then that, like, sure, we did that video not even last week. Oh, Games Workshop's under, or not Games Workshop, sorry, Wizards of the Coast isn't making enough money. Well, it's under monetized.
Here's the
like,
thing,
well, yeah,
though,
it is. Like, if you just make better books.
Way back when, before the Sociopaths showed up to D&D or whatever else, the Hidozi would have been a fucking nothing burger. No one would have cared.
Yeah, no one cared.
But the Sociopaths use the social capital to just completely stir up shit. That's what they do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's more than just like money these days. I think it's also to do with like why did it have to turn into culture war stuff? Does everything have to be culture war? You know what I mean? Does everything have to be a battlefield to be fought over?
Well, no.
It didn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
It didn't have to be at all.
No,
it didn't have to be. But they want to destroy the other side. It's all about destroying the bad people. And unfortunately, we got all somehow labeled with the bad person. We were all Neckbeardia is problematic. You know, that kind of dumb stuff.
Well, the thing is, like, you know, for me, like, okay, so I won't buy like most corporation role-playing books now. Like, you know, I just wouldn't bother. It's just not for me. But I'll still buy like Borg and stuff like that. And like the guys that made Borg, they are straight up Antifa. You know what I mean? They've said it themselves. Like, you know, but again, I still think what their product's good. So I've got no issue with buying their stuff. You know what I mean? If their stuff's good, then
the main problem is that
should their personal politics be able to overcome that?
Well, yes, they should.
And I don't feel like they're actively putting in any of their genuine ideology into the book. Like, you know, there's like one thing in the Cyborg book that you could probably say, but that's it. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing an overflow of it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not seeing it being pushed. You know what I mean? And I'm more than happy with that, and that's the way.
I think the main issue is that instead of subcultures like, oh, I like geek stuff, or hey, I like sports ball, instead cultures and personal subculture are now revolving around a political party. That's where it all went wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, hey, I'm a Lord of the Rings head, or hey, I'm a Star Wars, hey, I'm a Republican, or hey, I'm a Democrat, and that's literally their identity.
Well, that's what it is now. Yeah. How sad.
And it's sad. I mean, it really is depressing because you no longer have a personality. You're just another cog in the chain of a political party, and you are dumb enough to think that it's your personality. So I'm going to sprint through all this and just kind of get it done. Ready? So the death of cool, unless after a couple years the cool is all used up. partially because the new thing is no longer new, and partly because it was diluted into new light, which is inherently uncool. As the MOPs dwindle, the sociopaths loot whatever value is left and move on to the next exploit. They leave behind only wreckage, devastated geeks who still have no idea what happened to their wonderful new thing and the wonderful friendships they formed around it. Often the geeks will end up hating each other, due first to the stress of supporting MOPs and later due to sociopath divide and conquer manipulation tactics. Unless...
Oh, I've never seen that before. Divide and conquer every time.
Shocking.
Every single time.
Whole, you are unbeatable. Divided, you are simply a stepping stone. So, unless some of the creators are geniuses... Unless some of the creators are geniuses, if they can give the new thing genuine mass appeal, they can ascend into superstardom. The subculture will reorganize around them into a much more durable form. I won't go into that in here. I will point out that this almost never happens without sociopaths. An ambitious creator may know they have mass appeal genius and could be a star, but very rarely do they know how to get from here to there. Resistance. So what is to be done? This is a geek question. The subculture life cycle is a problem only from a geek perspective. As far as MOPs are concerned, it provides reliable, low-cost waves of novelty entertainment and casual social relationships. As far as sociopaths are concerned, it generates easily exploited pools of prestige, sex, power, and money.
Yeah, I don't know about the sex part, I'll be honest with you guys.
Hey, YouTube fucks me all the time, okay? There's plenty of sex where we are. Alright. From a utilitarian point of view, MOPs hugely outnumber geeks, so in terms of total social value, it's all good. Can't make omelets without breaking some eggheads. So what is to be done? Geeks can refuse to admit MOPs. Gatekeeping. In fact, successful subcultures always do create costly barriers to entry to keep out the uncommitted. Gatekeeping. In the heyday of subcultures, those were called posers. MOP exclusion keeps the subculture comfortable for geeks but severely limits its potential. Often there's a struggle between geeks who like their cozy little club as it is and geeks who want a shot at greatness for themselves or the group or the new thing. In any case, subculture boundaries are always porous, and if the new thing is cool enough, MOPs will get in regardless. The optimal MOP-geek ratio is maybe 6-1. At that ratio, the MOPs provide more energy than they consume. A ratio above about 10-1 becomes unworkable. It's a recipe for burnout among supporting fanatics. Ideally, the ratio could be controlled. Gatekeeping. I think a few subcultures understand this imperative, and I'm not sure how it could be done even if one did understand. MOPs move in herds. Usually either there are only a few, or the numbers quickly grow too large. Sociopaths only show up if there's enough MOPs to exploit. So excluding, or limiting MOPs, is a strategy for excluding sociopaths. Some subcultures do understand this and succeed with it. Alternatively, you could recognize sociopaths and eject them. Geeks may be pretty good at the recognizing, but are lousy at the ejecting. MOPs don't recognize sociopaths and anyway don't care. MOPs have little investment in the subculture and can just walk away when sociopaths ruin it. By the time the sociopaths show up, MOPs are numerically most of the subculture. Sociopaths manipulate the MOPs and it's hard for the geeks to overrule an overwhelming majority. Anyway, horribly, geeks need sociopaths. If the new thing is ever going to be more than a geeky hobby or a brief fad that collapses under the weight of the MOP invasion. So what is to be done? Be slightly evil. Be
as toxic as humanly possible. The more toxic, the better. Become undiluted hate.
Well, you laugh, but I think this is going to be what it is. So be slightly evil.
Well, go for it.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it
40
after.
minutes. The subcultural mode mostly ended around 2000. There are still subcultures, new ones all the time, but they no longer have the cultural and social force they used to. The classical model of subcultures no longer works, for the reasons given here, plus others I'll describe in upcoming writing. I don't think it can be rescued. However, the fluid mode, my hoped-for future, resembles the subcultural mode in many ways. The same social dynamics may play out unless there is a powerful antidote. Hate! A slogan of Rouse may point the right. A slogan of Rouse may point the way. Be slightly evil. Or geeks need to learn and use some of the sociopaths' tricks. Then geeks can capture more of the value they create and get better at ejecting true sociopaths. Specific strategies for sociopathy are outside the scope of this book. However, I have an abstract suggestion. Rao includes his analysis by explaining that his sociopaths are actually nihilists, in much the same sense as I use the word. Serious subcultures are usually eternalistic. The new thing is a source of meaning that gives everything in life purpose. Internalistic naivety makes subcultures much easier to exploit. Slightly evil defense of a subculture requires realism, letting go of internalist hope and faith and imaginary guarantees that the new thing will triumph. Such realism is characteristic of nihilism. Nihilism has its own delusions, though. It is worth trying to create beautiful, useful new things, and worth defending them against nihilism. A fully realistic worldview corrects both internalistic and nihilistic errors. Combining what works in internalism and nihilism amounts to the complete stance, which is essentially the same as the fluid mode.
So Garbu's audio crashed, and we did finish doing outro, and I'm going to slap that on afterwards. But there was a point that I made that I really just want to re-record and put in. And my biggest issue with this whole article, to me anyway, is I genuinely do wish role-playing games to be as popular as video games. I think one of the key problems that we have in this modern age is we're more connected than ever before, but we're also look at how lonely people are, and that's not good. It's really not good. I really wish role-playing games to be, I think they're perfect, honestly. Like tabletop games in general, like, you know, yeah, you can sit and paint by yourself, it's relaxing, it's therapeutic, and then, like, you know, you also get to do something really social, and it's so much fun, and you get to meet so many people by doing so. And honestly, I consider role-playing games, yes, Ozzy's here with me as well. Sorry, back to what I was trying to say. This is a really tough one for me, because I genuinely do want role-playing games to be open to as many people as humanly possible, because I think genuinely they're great for the soul, and I think if they had the same prominence in the public psyche as video games, or if they were more acceptable, I think the world would be a far better place because of that. Could you imagine? Think about it. Imagine bars and nightclubs were just as popular as game stores. You know what I mean? Would that breed a much better, stronger society where we're all able to chat and communicate? Yeah, I know, Ozzy, I know. How many of these do you get these days? What is there to do for young adults that doesn't involve drinking an awful lot of the time? The options are limited, and especially if you're someone like myself who is extremely socially inept, to say the least. I don't think you guys actually really understand just how bad I am at talking a lot of the time, which is funny because we do YouTube, you know what I mean? And it's such a hyper-social thing to do, but at the same time, it's literally just me and Megan talking in a room together, or it's me and Garbu sitting chatting together. It's a really weird one to comprehend, and I think for me personally, role-playing games and YouTube has helped me dramatically over the years, especially wargaming in particular. See, whenever I first got back into 40k and stuff, see, just like sitting down at the end of a horrible shift and just painting for a few hours and being able to relax and take your mind off stuff. Oh my god, it did me wonders, honestly. It really did, and I really do wish it for so many more people, because it worked so well for me, and I want to share this with the world. I want more people to enjoy this, but at what cost? And that's the biggest issue for me. At what cost? Why is there so many people that want to turn everything that we do into social war stuff? Why is it that every day we're seeing new news articles and they're saying this and they're saying that, and it's honestly, it's at the point where it's pure slander. And yeah, you can sit and poke fun at it and laugh at them, but the worst thing is people actually listen. It's actually kind of terrifying just how many people listen to these people, and honestly, I don't want to like do any more of this sort of stuff for at least a month. I really want to avoid talking about Wizards of the Coast. What I really love doing is I love world building videos. I love fun stories. That's it. That's the type of videos that me and Megan love doing. This sort of stuff, I just feel so demoralized from it all. And I don't really know what other way to put it. So, like, that's where we're going to jump back to where me and Garbgo finish up. So, let's get into that. So, it turns out Garbgo's audio... Again! On us. So, like, I think we're just going to wrap up there, so we will. Honestly, check out this guy's website. What's his name? David Chapman.
Yeah.
Worth checking out, honestly. He's got a lot of really interesting articles. I'm actually thinking I am going to pick up his book, just because... He's not even talking about role-playing games per se, but everything's so applicable, and I've seen it happen in so many other genres. You know, it's kind of sad.
Because this can apply to everything. It can apply to anything you kind of hold it up to. It's basically a vignette. You can hold it up to any kind of fandom or thing, and it'll fit.
Yeah, it's kind of sad actually, just how well it fits.
Yeah, I know,
right?
With
you. But like anyway, look, that's where we're gonna wrap up. We're coming at 50 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long video.
But I don't know, but I don't know how much. But you know what, this fits more as like a podcast, honestly.
It does, yeah.
And like but after I edit out Garbu swearing, it's gonna be like a 10-minute video anyway. So don't worry, right? Like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Anything needs to be got up, check out Garbu's channel. We've still got that sale going. We might have some new models up by the time you're watching this. I've got a new, but I can't believe I haven't said about this yet, but we got Lizard Biddies 3 now. We had Lizard Biddies 1, Lizard Biddies 2, now we got Lizard Biddies 3. So what do you guys
Lizard Tits 2, Lizard Big Blue.
Yeah. So like, go ahead, check out the links down below and check out this guy's stuff, because it's actually pretty interesting. Anything else? No,
honestly, this is a very depressing video because it fits almost everything I've seen die since 2000. You know, and it literally kind of you kind of look at it and go, okay, this does kind of mark the beginning of the end with a lot of things you love as a teenager or an adult. You know, like 40K or anything that involves a role-playing game that got even somewhat remarkably mainstream. It's like, oh god, it's all true.
Well, you know the thing is, it's not happening to me with Lord of the Rings because I'm just not watching it, and I don't care, and I'm never going to watch it. I'm never going to watch Rings of Power, and I don't care what anyone has to say to me. I will never watch it, and you know what? I'm never going to know what happens in the show. I'm never going to watch any analysis. I'm never going to understand it, and I don't even want to know, and I'm still going to complain about it, and people will be like, oh, but James, you know, you really should watch it first, and then complain about it. It's like, how about no? How about no? I already know it's going to be bad.
Go pound sand. How's that sound there, bud?
Yeah, I mean, you can go watch it. I'm just not going to do that. Does that sound good? I hope you guys enjoyed. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Otherwise, we're just going to keep talking. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
All those moments lost in time.